Hey everybody, this is Ryan. Let's go over the chords for You Don't Have to Call by Usher. It looks like this. Situations will arise in our lives, but you gotta be smart about it. There are so many great benefits to learning this. We're working on our jazz chords, which can be very applicable for many different kinds of chord substitutions you might want to make for fun or for just to make a song easier. We're working on doing a strum pattern that's kind of authentic to the song and increasing what our right hand can do. And we're also working on doing some chord changes and maybe a few tips and tricks for bar chords. So let's dive right into it. To start, we are going to look at our D flat major 7 chord, which looks like this. So we have our first finger on the 4th fret of the A, then our ring finger on the 6th fret of the D, our middle finger on the 5th fret of the G, our pinky on the 6th fret of the B, and then we are slightly muting this high E string. So the way to mute this is I'm not barring it, I'm not laying flat. I'm actually I'm tilting my wrist slightly so that it's not that the string rings out, but that my finger is very lightly touching that high E string. And the other thing that I'm doing too is you see I'm not resting on the tip of my first finger here. I'm resting on the pad of my first finger. So that way the tip of this finger is very lightly touching the low E string. So that way it's not ringing out. So if we do this one string at a time, this chord will sound like this. Let's try that again. And what's really cool about this chord is that it's not a bar chord. So this is our major 7 shape. So this is a D flat major 7. This is a C major 7. This is a D major 7. This is an E flat major 7. So you can take this shape and move it around. As an example, this is a really great substitute for a B major chord. If you ever have to play in the key of F, just play B major 7 instead of that honkin' bar chord. You could do this and it's a lot easier. So this is our D flat major 7. Now, the next chord that we have up is our C minor 7. So we are going to take this shape, move it down a fret, and then we're going to lift off the pinky and then put our middle finger down another string, and then we're going to lay the bar down. And if at any point your hands hurt from doing the bars, that's totally okay. Just, take the hand off, just do what you need to. Because bar chords are hard, and while we're not playing, actually 3 out of 4 of these chords are bar chords, but these chords are really beautiful and they're used in a lot of like R&B and soul music and stuff like that, so it's worthwhile to learn how to play these. So our first finger is barring across the 3rd fret. Our ring finger, it's just like your minor bar chord, except you're just lifting off your pinky, and now the G string is covered by the bar here. And I'm doing the same thing where my first finger is very lightly touching this string. Otherwise you get this, which might not sound the best in this context. So this is, again, our minor 7 shape. So you could take this and you can move it anywhere. So this is C sharp minor 7, D minor 7, E flat minor 7, etc. So this is C minor. And that's actually what we're going to do next. Is now we're just going to take that C minor 7 shape and we're going to move it down 2 frets. So now we have our B flat minor 7. Just like that. It's the exact same thing, except now we're moving down 2 frets. And just a quick note, you can see that some of my strings are buzzing as well. It's totally normal. When you start doing bars down like here, this is actually the hardest area on the guitar to bar because there's a height difference between this and the nut right here. So that's why these bar chords are hard. Some tips for that is I'm not like trying to be super perpendicular. I'm actually leaning my finger, rolling it slightly, so that way it's on the bony part right here. So the bone is like laying across the finger, and that's kind of where my weight is being placed. You can also see too that my fingers are kind of slanted this way rather than that way. That just, it goes along with the way that my hand is kind of slanted like this when I play. Finally, you can see my thumb down here. I like to put my thumb as though it's like just pinching. Thumb right under the first finger. And then once you get used to the squeeze, then the strings will ring out relatively clearly. Not all of the strings on all of my bar chords ring out all the time perfectly, and that's okay. So we're going to go back to this D flat major 7, and we're just going to practice going from D flat major 7 to this C minor 7 bar chord. So let's do like maybe about that fast. Let's just go ahead and get started. Again, I'm muting, and then I'm barring. I love this chord because it's much easier to play than this chord is. And by the way, if that high E string on your C minor bar chord, you can hear like I kind of have a little bit of a buzz there. Like, it's okay. It's not going to be, it's not going to be anything that's the end of the world or anything like that. It's just a string that's buzzing. That's all it is. Let's do it. This is the last time. Now that we've done that, now let's do the same thing, except when we go here, now let's go down 2 frets to the harder version of this one. Okay, so here we go. To C minor 7, to B flat minor 7. Let's do it again. Here we go. To C minor 7, to B flat minor 7. See, some of my strings are kind of buzzy, and that's okay. D flat major 7, C minor 7, B flat minor 7. One more time. D flat major 7, C minor 7, and B flat minor 7. So let's take a look at the tab for this. So the way that the rhythm is kind of like how we were playing it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's take a look at this F minor 9. So it's very similar to this chord, except we're going to slide it all the way up to the 8th fret and the 10th fret here. And we are not worried about this middle finger being here. We're going to lift it off. So it's going to be dead string, then 8th fret, then 10th fret, and then 8th fret, 8th fret, 8th fret. And that's all covered with the bar. Now, what I love to do on this chord is actually use my middle finger to help me push down the bar. So I'll take my middle finger and kind of lay it across my finger like this, and then that way I can get a lot more pressure on the bar chord. Also, my thumb is not directly under this chord. It feels more comfortable for me to put it like over here, kind of like in the middle. You can't see it, but it's like in the middle of my it's like my thumb is right here in the middle of the neck. And then when I do this, my thumb, my middle finger is long enough to where it's lightly touching the low E string right here, so it can help mute that low E string. Otherwise, you might get this. Sounds kind of crunchy. So let's just practice that chord. And again, if your hands are fatigued, that's normal. Just take a quick break. So let's try playing it just a couple of times like this. At your own pace. Whatever works for you. A couple more times. And we're going to do this anyway, because after we play this chord, we have the rest. So now it's going to sound like this. And then you just start it over. So what we're going to do is let's try doing all of that very slowly. and we'll count maybe like 1 and 2 and, like about that slow. 1 and 2 and ready, here we go now. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I'm not going to get into the rest of the bars. Let's just do that one more time about that slow. And again, you don't have to hold the bar for that long. You're not going to when you actually play it at the tempo it's at. So 1 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, everybody. So this was the tutorial for the chords for You Don't Have to Call. I'll see y'all in the practice video.